Okay. Um. Oh, this is also what I wanted to put up there. So Taylor Swift. This is really interesting. Taylor Swift has sold 1.5 million copies first week. This is pretty good actually. Um and this is a feat. I talked to a lot of industry insiders about this, and we should probably break it down. Taylor Swift Midnight's album will end up being a, I believe, number 4 or number 5 most streamed album of all time, at least on Spotify, at least in a week. Despite it selling 1.54 million copies first week, it is not the highest streamed album. And the reason why it sold 1.54 copies first week, Taylor Swift is doing what I believe is going to change the game. I believe after this year, this whole era that Beyonce ushered in of pop-up releases is fucking over. You know, when Drake pops up and says, I'm dropping an album next week, it's over. Granted, could he still do it? Could other artists still do it? Yes. But people like Taylor Swift are going to start putting these artists to shame, because the reason why Taylor Swift is selling 1.54 million copies first week, she's promoting her shit 6 months before. Nowadays, niggas doing lack of promo. A lot of these rappers are selling 50K, 20K, 30K. Taylor Swift, and if you're wondering how does she sell 1.54 if she don't even have the most streamed album of all time, well, what she did was she bundled vinyls with her ticket sales for her tour. Here's also the thing. In the rap community, because everyone was finessing, and most of the sales usually is finessing, people have adopted to think that bundling is dead. Bundling isn't dead. The rule, my bad. The rules when it came to bundling has allowed Taylor Swift to do what she did, right? Also, here's the thing too. Taylor has done a great job of making an experience for her audience. Okay? She has like 20 different versions of this vinyl CD. Like, not vinyl CD, just this vinyl, right? On the vinyl version, there's certain songs that you can't get on the digital version, and on the digital version, there's songs that's not on the vinyl version. She's made it where you have to stream it and buy it. It's not just the same music. But the way she did it, and you see artists in rap, they're so scared to try to sell something and sell actually music. So what most people were doing was, oh, I'll sell you this V-Lone shirt, right? I'll sell you this V-Lone shirt, and we'll act like you bought an album. Billboard rewrote the rules. They basically disqualified all that shit. Okay? The new rules say whatever you're selling has to ship the same week. A person could only buy a certain amount of copies, which means like they can't mass buy. Like, they changed the rules where essentially you have to promote actual music to get these sales. So what Taylor did was she sold a vinyl version. If you bought the vinyl version, you had early access to her tour tickets. It was incentivizing. It's like a new way of bundling. So she sold 700,000 tickets, 700,000 vinyl, because it allowed her fans to get access to buy her tour tickets early. Streaming, she did 400,000, which is still pretty good. It would have been one of the top 3 releases regardless if she didn't sell shit. She also sold 300,000 CDs, cassettes, digital actual albums where people would have to just buy it, not stream it. I talked to a lot of people, and they believe that the era that Beyonce ushered in with Lemonade of, oh, I just have an album that's dropping, and everybody was taking just advantage of the streaming era, that's about to change, and people like Taylor Swift are changing it. Okay? So, I know a lot of people who care about sales are wondering how the fuck did Taylor do that? And I had even more qualitative conversations because I said, yo, why don't rappers drop vinyls? And if they do drop vinyls, they'll drop it later. They'll drop a vinyl later. They won't drop it when the album comes out. They'll drop it like maybe 2 months later. And this was the response and answer I got, which now that I think about it makes perfect sense. The reason why Drake doesn't do shit like this is because for you to press up 700,000 vinyl, remember, it's only going to count. You got to ship them out the first week. Back in the day when niggas ordered V-Lone shirts and they were still waiting on them for 6 months later, Billboard realized it's a finesse. It's like niggas basically using pre-order for clothes and counting as album sales. Now, all your bundles have to go out and has to be in stock that week. Vinyl takes a while to press up. Taylor Swift submits her album 6 months before. These days, rappers submit their albums literally a couple days before. For example, YoungBoy will send his album in to the label. They'll send it in Wednesday. It drops Friday. The reason why that started to happen is because people realize that leaks. Remember when music leaking was a real thing? Remember when niggas used to get access to someone's album 2 whole weeks or 3 whole weeks before it ever came out? People realize the way to avoid that is to keep the music out of the hands of the labels. Just by the mere structure of a label and how big it is with so many moving parts, there's going to be some unhappy employee or somebody who has to send music to somewhere that there's going to be a leak somewhere. So one of the reasons I was told was like, well, Drake can't do what Taylor Swift did. Or any big artist can't do what Taylor Swift did because they would have to submit their music 6 months before. You submit your music 6 months before, your shit's getting leaked. Now, granted, if Taylor Swift's music get leaked, she's still selling 1.54 million copies first week. If whatever rapper's music get leaked, it's not going to sell the same. Do you get what I mean? So I said leaks are just promos. They're on purpose 90% of the time. Some. She dropped. It's weird. Anyway, if you go to her discography, go to her albums, right? This album here, Red, you'll see Taylor version. The reason why it's called Taylor version is because she dropped another project called Red that she doesn't own. So she re-recorded her old album and dropped it like it was new. Like the same words, she ain't changed a motherfucking thing. She may have gave a bonus song or something like that. Let's look. She may have gave like a bonus song. Look, every song that says Taylor version. Every song, Taylor version, Taylor version, Taylor version, Taylor version. That's all she did. She just re-recorded her fucking album over again. Okay? We're gonna stay on albums. Fearless, Taylor version. This is a whole album, Taylor version. Um, let's go to See All. It's Midnight's Red Taylor version, Fearless Taylor version, Evermore Deluxe. No, that's just Evermore shit. All right, now look at this. Let me go back to my browser. We'll get back to this Jake Paul shit, right? Look, Taylor Swift. We'll go to her Wikipedia. We can find some shit there real quick. Taylor Swift, okay? Let's go to discography. Where is it? Discography. Re-recordings, okay? So this is her 2 re-recorded albums, Red and Fearless, right? When you click on Red, she re-released it. So the original one that came out, the original Red came out in 2012. So there is a law that says after, I think, 7 years, the copyrights of the song. So here's the thing: the copyrights of the song, I forgot exactly how it is, but it's kind of like a finesse where you could do either a cover, or if you're the artist yourself, you could re-register the copyrights to a new version of that song if you sing it. So now you could own the masters of the new version, but you have to re-record it completely. So she dropped the same album 9 years later, right? So the original was here. She dropped the same album 9 years later. And look, this is what I'm saying. This could never happen in like rap. Look, commercial, critical reception, commercial performance, right? Does it show anything first week? What did it first week? Look, Fearless Taylor version garnered the biggest opening day on Spotify, tally more than 50 whatever release. Hold on, let me see. I'm trying to. Oh, that's Fearless. We were trying to see Red. Let's go to commercial. Commercial. Where's the fuck? Okay, release. Let me just type in first week. Look. Upon release of Red, Taylor version, it broke several streaming records. Keep in mind, she just released a 9-year-old album. It's like 50 dropping Get Rich or Die Trying now and doing the same shit he did in 2003. Look, the re-released or re-recorded version of her old album became the most streamed album in a day in female history on Spotify, with over 90 million people, 90 million global opening day streams. She's the first woman to amass over 100 million streams in a day. The album moved 1.2 million copies globally in the first week. So that's not U.S. sales. It's globally. So it probably did maybe 400 or 600K. Yeah. The point what I'm trying to tell y'all. Oh, here it goes. Within 5 days of release, it sold over 500K in the U.S. So that's what the sales we usually think about. So I don't know if y'all realize, if Drake does 600K in the U.S., he probably did 1 million, in the world. But nobody gives a fuck about the rest of the world. We only care about the United States. So when we talk in sales, we usually only talk in the United States. Anyway, the point of what I was trying to tell y'all is that Taylor Swift dropped a 9-year-old album, re-released it and re-recorded it, and she sold over 500,000 copies in a week. If a rapper's music got leaked three weeks before it came out, it's going to hurt their sales by at least 30%. Do you get what I'm saying? She's just very popular, and her fan base doesn't mind if she's dropped the shit already. By the way, her fan base is one of the... This is why she could influence streaming and the music industry, because her fan base will actually... they have stopped listening to the original version of the album and only listens to her version. You know what I mean? That's dedication. Anyway, um, yeah. So that was the Red album, Taylor's version. And by the way, if you're wondering where this came from, Taylor Swift, Scooter Braun. So Scooter Braun, which was Justin Bieber's manager, he's fucking filthy, fucking rich. Scooter Braun, and here it goes. The dispute over Taylor Swift with her former record label, Big Machine Records, and his co-founder, blah blah. Basically, the owner of her record label sold her masters to Scooter Braun. Okay, Braun purchased the masters of Taylor Swift for $330 million. Okay, now essentially what happened, and this is why I always say you have these particular artists. I think Kanye is one of them. Dave Chappelle is definitely one of them, where even after these deals get done, they control their fan base so much, their fan base will still listen to them. So basically, what ended up happening is that they bought her masters for $330 million. She didn't like it. She also said that she had the money to buy it herself, and they wouldn't do a deal with her. Essentially saying that they didn't give her a chance to own her own shit. So she wrote a whole long thing. Her fans felt horrible that the artist they love was being robbed. And she came up with a plan. I'm going to re-release the music that I could own it. And her fans have supported her even more now that she's re-recorded the old shit than they supported the old shit when it first came out. Only Taylor Swift could do that. It's like when Dave Chappelle said, yo, they sold or they're licensed in my show, the Chappelle Show, and I'm not getting paid from it. If you love me, don't watch that shit. And people were gonna stop watching it. And because that happened, they had to basically almost do a deal with Dave Chappelle to give him back the rights to the show. There's only a few people like Taylor Swift, like a Kanye West, like a Dave Chappelle. But these people wield a lot of power. Anyway, yeah. So you see the Taylor versions here. She released Fearless Taylor version and Red Taylor version. Yeah. So, by the way, she's gonna re-record 6 albums. So she did 2 already. The reason why this Midnight's album is selling and is such a big deal, because it's while she's probably gonna drop, at least in the next like 8 months, she'll probably drop another re-released album or re-recorded album, I mean. But this Midnight's album was brand new. So she's still giving new albums, but she's also releasing the old shit again. Which, if rappers could do that, right, the music industry would be, it wouldn't even be a thing. If a rapper could do what Taylor Swift is doing, think about if well, I don't know why Kanye didn't do that, but Kanye said he offered, I forgot what the number was. He offered a lot of money to Def Jam to buy his masters back. Def Jam told him, "Fuck off, nigga." Like, nigga, nigga, you trying to get the masters to Jesus Walks? Get out of here, nigga. And remember, he's a billionaire, but they won't sell it to him. Remember, I told you that they didn't want to give YoungBoy back his masters, or even YoungBoy was going to sign with Atlantic if they were down to do a deal where he got back some of his masters retroactively. They were like, "Fuck no, we'll give you more money. We're not giving you give you none of those masters." I hear the deal Drake owns, I believe, I heard it was 50-50 now. Like, he owns half of his masters. And yes, a masters is like a pie. So it's not just you own it or I own it. There's percentages on it too. You know what I mean? Usually when you sign your first deal, you will own none of your masters. The label will own your masters. When you do when you do renegotiate, you renegotiate usually for, and it's not retroactive, it goes forward. You renegotiate and you be like, yo, for every release from now, I own 25% of the masters, right? However, the label always control the rights of the masters, which means they make all the decisions. So you might own a percentage, but they make all the decisions. So they could do what they want. You just own a piece of it. From what I hear, Drake owns about 50-50. That's why you see the portion he owns, that's under the OVO brand. Anything he releases now, you'll see OVO/Republic. You won't see Cash Money. You won't see Young Money. You'll only see OVO/Republic because he owns half and the rest of the half goes to Republic. Somebody said yo, chat. I apologize for my stream today. I really don't know what's going on with my internet, man. Why people in my chat just talking about YB? Somebody says The Weeknd. I don't know too much about The Weeknd deals, to be honest with you. The Weeknd signed through XO. I know. I have to imagine, like artists like The Weeknd, unless he's in like some long ass deal, The Weeknd should own the majority of his masters. You know what I mean? At least for the new shit. But it depends on how many times you like renegotiate. Yo, the music business is an interesting place. When you come in, you sign essentially the worst type of deal possible, right? And over time, you're supposed to renegotiate to get the best deal. Obviously, the best deal would be pretty much just a distribution deal, like what Bad Bunny got.